Good afternoon, Warren. It's Mr. Kangas here, and I am doing my gratitude garden for the week. Um, so I think to start off, one of the things I always talk about is I think our school, we're heading in a different direction for education. One I think is really important to take. I talk a lot about how uh, academics and achievement data and stuff have driven education in an unhealthy way for the last probably 2 decades. And education's become kind of sterile in a way. We've kind of lost focus on the fact that these are kids, and that we need to make sure that that we're raising humans and we're raising people and not just academic scholars. And there's a lot more to life than just math and reading that we need to work on with our kids and develop in our kids. And a big part of learning too, in our ability to learn, stems from having healthy social skills, a healthy sense of self, um, and feelings of success, and a variety of things that we engage with. If you are just always focused on the things that you struggle with, and that's all you do all day, every day, and you're constantly being faced with failure, and then that failure is not healthy. Failure is healthy when there's intermittent success. You try, you fall off the bike. You try again, you do a little bit better, you fall off again. You try again, but each time you get a little bit better, and eventually you achieve. That's how that's when failure is healthy, and that's how you build perseverance. That's how you build grit and work ethic. You don't build that by consistently beating someone down. um, Eventually they will cave and give up and get frustrated. And so our staff work really hard to balance the academic portion of education with the social part of education, with just the whole uh, life skills and life experience piece of education. So, like, today I really want to give a big shout out to all of our day treatment and step staff. They're working with, some of our most difficult children, just due to, the fact that these are kids that have significant traumas and diagnoses, that cause them to struggle more so than your average person. And today I just got a pumpkin snickerdoodle, because Mrs. Fowler over in our K2 or K3 Endeavor program or day treatment program, is cooking with her kids every Friday. And just hearing them as they're cooking, and as they're, just the pride they take in what they were able to accomplish by making these. And then and they willingly and gleefully, share them with other people. They want other people to enjoy, what they've created. And seeing them come together and work together and look forward to this, it's such a fascinatingly, you know, it's just something I look forward to every week. It's so heartwarming, and just walking by the room when they're doing it, and listening, and seeing the looks on their faces, and hearing what's coming out of their mouth. It's so cool. And Mrs. Fowler has stepped up this year. She's been ed tech in our building for a long time, and this year she's now our official Endeavor teacher. And this has been a big step up for her in terms of her role and responsibility within the school. And you couldn't tell that this is her first year teaching, as a teacher. And I mean, she's just rocking and rolling, and always has a smile on her face, always has a positive can-do attitude, and is making such a huge impact on our kids. And I'd have to give another huge shout out to Kyle Renich. He's the clinician for our Endeavor and STEP programs, and it's awesome the way that he is always on the front lines, right? Like, so he's the clinician for the program, but he is always in classrooms. He's always working with kids, and I'm constantly sitting in my office because I've got one of the programs is practically next door to my office, and like I can always I hear him in there just bantering with the kids and interacting with them positively. He's not just going into their rooms when there's a crisis. He's in there to enjoy the kids, and he does enjoy the kids, and that is such a huge piece of what makes these programs successful, along with all the work that our ed techs and our teachers are doing. So a big shout out to them. And then there are like these little things that happen throughout the week, that are always they're just memories, positive memories that you create. And, little things like we did a fire drill yesterday, and, Mrs. Tardif was having a guidance class in her room. And so she went to go to the workroom, and there was an ed tech working with a student in there. And so she didn't want to bother him. So she came out, she was sitting on the bench in the lobby area, and kind of on her own during her prep period, trying to do work without a space. And we went to go do the fire drill, and part of doing the fire drill is you get to pull the fire alarm. And it feels, even having done it a few times now, it's a weird feeling pulling the fire alarm. And so I invited her to, since she got booted out of her space, I invited her to pull the fire alarm, and just the excitement, like we all get very excited when we get to do things. You almost get this like childlike excitement when you get to do something like that. Because I mean, how many of us, how many people have actually pulled those? And your whole childhood, it's like a big no-no. And I know the first time I pulled it, I was really like, and my brain was freaking out, because when I was a kid, we were supposed to go to Boston when I was in 5th grade as a school, and we didn't get to go because the class before me pulled a fire alarm at the Boston, I think, Aquarium or the Science Museum, and so they banned our school from coming for a year. So my class never got to go, and so like I've always had that in the back of my head. Every time I see a fire alarm, I have this like stay away, don't touch it kind of response. And so that was a really cool moment, and she was just so excited to be able to do that, and it's just a little thing, but it was really a big thing. Really excited too for our 6th graders. They have a Kiev opportunity where Mrs. Watton got a grant for Miller and Warren, where we will be partnering with Kiev, and as long as we can get everything, all the ducks in a row and all the pieces in place, which I'm really confident we can, they will 2 times a week be able to go over after school to Kiev and engage in some team building activities and outdoor kind of activities, and eat dinner together, and do really cool things like that. And on top of that, Kiev's going to be sending an educator in residence over to us for the year, which is going to be awesome. We've worked with them once before and had an educator in residence here, and just what they're able to bring and provide is so unique and so special, and I'm really excited about this opportunity that has come our way. It's a great thing for kids to look forward to as they hit 6th grade. We're hoping that this will be a long-term thing that all 6th graders every year get to have an opportunity to participate in, and so we're trying to make sure that we figure all those details out to make sure that can happen. But even just getting to do it this year is really exciting, and again, it's another one of those things where it's not about academics. It's a step outside of that, and it's about building people. And I'm really excited about that, because I think for too long we have been neglecting the people in education. We've been neglecting the people inside our kids. So that's super exciting for me, and I believe for the 6th grade kiddos. They seemed pretty excited when the Kiev people came and spoke to them this week. And all the work that has gone into prepping and planning that and trying to make that work. I really appreciate everyone involved in that. And, Christina Watton has done a really great job up in her role in pursuing these opportunities and finding funding and things like that. And, it's really nice being in a district where from all the way up the top, all the way down, we all kind of have the same aspirations and mindset about education and where it should be headed. And then the last thing I will talk about this week is I am very excited for the future. We're doing some. We just started this week some pre-planning. We have plans for next year. We don't have all the details yet, but the idea that we are pursuing is we call them passion projects. One of the things I've talked about a lot is that kids and a lot of adults flounder when they get out of high school. Um, and if they go to college, they switch majors. If they don't go to college, they switch a lot of jobs, and they just don't know what they want to do with their life. They don't have hobbies. They don't know what they're interested in, and a lot of that stems from as a kid they didn't really have a lot of opportunities, a lot of experiences. So one of the things we've been doing at Warren are things like this Key of Experience, where we're trying to get kids more experiences. We're trying to you know give kids a little bit more opportunity to explore their passions, to realize what they're passionate about, to find a passion. Um, so best way to figure out what you like, who you are, what you're good at, what you're passionate about is just doing things, and eventually you find things that just speak to you. And so, uh, what our goal is to have. We'll probably start out smaller scale. My original idea was all day on Wednesdays, every Wednesday, we're going to do this, but we're probably going to start out, my guess is, a little bit smaller scale. We'll probably do part of a day. It might be every Wednesday, it might be every other Wednesday, it might be once a month to start. We want to start somewhere manageable and then build from there. But the idea is that teachers are going to bring their passions into school, and show them to the kids and work with them with the kids. And so whether that be something along the lines of crocheting, it could be building something, it could be cooking, it could be whatever. Something that is outside of the typical purview of school, or it could be something as simple as just reading, like having a reading club and we just sit down and we read books. Um, so there's going to be a variety of things offered to the kids depending on the grade levels, and those offers will be, our opportunities will be different, and it will be a opportunity for kids to engage in something that isn't just your typical academics, um, and something a little bit more hands-on, something a little bit more experiential, to help develop their creative thinking, their problem solving, their logical reasoning, their social skills, all that good stuff. But in order to pull that off, we really need time to plan, and so we're going to be spending this year trying to come up with a plan, getting the logistics down. How is that going to work into the schedule? When is this going to happen? How often is it going to happen? How are we going to get kids to sign up? What grade levels are going to do what? Because obviously different grade levels are capable of different things. And so you may have a passion project that might be more appropriate for a sixth grader or a fifth grader, but you're working with kindergarten, first grade, second graders. So we'll be fleshing out the details, and we'll be coming to you with more details as we have them later in the year. But very excited about where that's going. Very excited about the ideas that have been floated by me already. So anyways, that's my gratitude garden for the week. Thank you for those of you who tune in and listen. And I will make sure to be back next week.